Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. July 6th. Identifying fear. The chief activator of our defects has been self-centered fear. A quote from 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 76. When I feel uncomfortable, irritated, or depressed, I look for fear. This evil and corroding thread is the root of my distress. Fear of failure, fear of others' opinions, fear of harm, and many other fears. I have found a higher power who does not want me to live in fear, and as a result, the experience of AA in my life is freedom and joy. I am no longer willing to live with the multitude of character defects that characterized my life while I was drinking. Step 7 is my vehicle to freedom from these defects. I pray for help in identifying the fear underneath the defect, and then I ask God to relieve me of that fear. This method works for me without fail and is one of the great miracles of my life in Alcoholics Anonymous. Courage to Change, One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, July 6th. So many of us come to Al-Anon feeling that we've gotten a raw deal from life. It isn't fair, we complain. Don't I deserve better after all I've been through? The prayer quoted in our Just for Today pamphlet may shed some light on this subject when it says, "Grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be loved as to love, for it is in the giving that we receive." Instead of questioning what life is giving us, perhaps we might profit more by asking what we ourselves can give. By reaching out to help others in a healthy way, we move beyond our problems and learn to give unconditionally. Every moment can be an opportunity to serve, an opportunity to change our lives. Al-Anon offers us many good places to start: setting up chairs, welcoming newcomers, leading a meeting. When we discover that we really can make a positive contribution, many of us find that self-esteem has replaced self-pity. Today's reminder. Today I seek to be an instrument of the peace of God. I know that it is the most loving and generous commitment I can possibly make to myself. There is a quote from John Gardner, and it reads, "When people are serving, life is no longer meaningless." Just for Today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, July 6th. I'm sorry. The main thing the 8th step does for us is to help build awareness that little by little we are gaining new attitudes about ourselves and how we deal with other people. Basic text, page 39. To say I'm sorry probably isn't such a foreign idea to most of us. In our active addiction, it may have been a very familiar phrase. We were always telling people how sorry we were, and we're probably deeply surprised when someone tired of our meaningless apologies responded with, "You sure are. In fact, you're the sorriest excuse for ... That may have been our first clue that an "I'm sorry" didn't really make any difference to those we harmed, especially when we both knew that we just do the same thing again. Many of us thought that making amends would be another "I'm sorry." However, the action we take in those steps is entirely different. Making amends means to make changes and, above all, to make the situation right. If we stole money, we don't just say "I'm sorry." I'll never do it again now that I'm clean, we pay the money back. If we neglected or abused our families, we don't just apologize, we begin to treat them with respect. Amending our behavior and the way we treat ourselves and others is the whole purpose of working the steps. We're no longer just sorry, we're responsible. Just for today, I accept responsibility for myself and my recovery. Today I will amend some particular thing I'm sorry for. Today, Emotions Anonymous, July 6th. Reflection for today. We dream of being winners. In our fantasies, we are always the successful achievers. In order for these dreams to come true, we have to want to be winners. With wanting something comes drive, determination, and a sense of commitment. When we take a good look at the winners we admire, we see they look like winners. They have a pride in their appearance. They talk like winners and converse with others with ease. They are comfortable with any group. They act like winners, and it is easy to see self-esteem and self-confidence radiate from them. These same people think like winners and have no room in their heads for negative thoughts. Seeing the positive side has become a habit with them and eventually their way of life. Meditation for today. Help me acquire winner's ways. Today I will remember my success starts with the attitude in my head, not the circumstances of my birth. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics' dysfunctional families. July 6th. Change in the workplace. By using our program and the support of our fellowship, we learn that we can affect changes in our working lives. BRB, page 425. At work, many of us noticed we were extremely uncomfortable. When we talked about our job difficulties, an ACA member asked if we'd ever read Chapter 14, Taking Our Program to Work. When we read it, we couldn't believe how true it was. Again, ACA literature told us things about ourselves we didn't know. We started to see ourselves and our jobs with fresh eyes. We learned that we related to people at our jobs as though they were our families of origin. We saw them through the filter of our laundry list traits, and we acted accordingly with each person, depending on their mood and or who they reminded us of from our family. By relying on a higher power, the support of our meetings and fellow travelers, and our continuing work on the steps, we now notice little changes here and there. We are able to pause and ask ourselves, is this big reaction I'm feeling based on the here and now? What does this remind me of? We use our recovery tools and call or email our recovery supporters during these times to process our experiences. Before we know it, our recovery is present in all parts of our lives, especially on the job. The affirmation reads, on this day, I will remember that I am safe and important, whether I am home, at work, or somewhere in between. Please subscribe, like, share, but most of all, be the you that you are created to be. That recovery is possible and that you are not alone. One day at a time.